So hello everyone. If you are in on this call, it means that you want to learn more about directorship. Some of you might already be serious that this is definitely something you want to work for. Others of you might just be curious as to what it's all about. And no matter which boat you're in right now, you're in the right place. My name is Karen Batty. I am a senior director with the Pampered Chef. And tonight I'm going to be sharing information with you all about directorship. I'm going to be reviewing what the benefits of directorship are and what it takes to achieve directorship as well as maintain directorship, and a simple plan on how to make it happen if that is something you decide you want to do. So are you guys ready? All right. Please mute if you have any background noise because we are returning the call. If you're leaving your mute off, please turn off your phones because those sound really loud when they ring. And there will definitely be time for Q&A at the end when everybody can unmute and just ask whatever questions that you want to have answered. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, another thing that's out of my comfort zone besides recording this call, using a PowerPoint, whatever the heck this thing is. So let's see how I do. All right. So we're going to start with the benefits of directorship. Oh, I was hoping that each one would come up separately, but they all came up at once. Oh, well. These are just a few of the directorship benefits. There are lots of benefits, but the first one listed is the one that most people think about, and that is additional income. As a director, we earn activity bonuses as well as overrides. The activity bonus is equal to $10 for every active person in your personal team, and the overrides at the director level are 3%. That's 3% of your own sales as well as your team's sales. For most people, when they're brand new directors, that means about an extra $300 to $400 in their check every month, which is kind of nice. It's like doing 3 or 4 more shows that you don't have to leave your house for. Also, do you guys know you get PC dollars at the time that you promote? I believe it's $250. Which is pretty sweet. Also, how many of you have seen pictures that were posted by your director of their director products that just arrived on their doorstep a few days ago?
I saw the picture you posted.
Yeah, absolutely. Every director, is all we have to do is sell $12.50 on 3 out of the 4 months before the products come out, and we automatically get 1 set for free. And then you know how in January we had the sell-a-thon month. Well, we can also earn them as consultants as well. So pretty much we get 2 of almost everything, which is really nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Another benefit is you get a birthday card from the home office. Sometimes that's the only recognition I get of my birthday when my family forgets. And also a little Christmas gift at the end of the year.
Nice.
Yeah. How many of you are going for Disney? Anybody? Even if you're muted, you can wave. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. If Disney is something you want to go for, if that's your big, year-long goal, then one of the smaller goals along the way would definitely be to achieve directorship.
Yes.
Yeah, because recruiting gives you 3,000 trip points for each qualified recruit. And when you become a director, the point requirement for achieving the trip goes down. So it makes it much easier to earn a trip. Another benefit of directorship is we get special recognition at different events. For those of you into Feast, you might have noticed that directors got to wear a red ribbon, and advanced directors navy blue, seniors white, execs teal, and so on, right on up. And also at the larger meetings, they'll do special recognition for the directors. They had the new directors actually go up on stage at Feast, which is very exciting. And, just like you don't sign up to become a Pampered Chef consultant, you don't just get a pat on the back and say, hey, we hope those parties go well. There's training and support offered to you. Well, guess what? When you become a director, there's additional training and support offered. By the time most people make it to directorship, the shows are kind of like automatic. They've been doing them a while. They've held usually a consistent show average for a while, and that part of the business they can do in their sleep. So that additional training, focused more on recruiting and supporting a team, that's all there as well for you at the time of your promotion. and I didn't even know this when I first became a director, but there's professional development money. At the director level, it's $100 a year. Did some of you go after Feast and go to Belinda Ellsworth's seminar? Because that is something that if you're a director, you could use professional development money to pay for. Pay for the seminar, pay for any training tapes from there. If you wanted to take a course on public speaking, or if you want to take a course on how do you build your business through social media, things like that, these things could be covered by professional development money. And as a director, you get $100 a year for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a help.
Yeah. Also, personal growth, for sure. If you asked me when I first got started if I thought I'd be speaking in a room of, thousands of people at national conference, I would have thought you were crazy. And yet I've done that a couple of times. So, yeah, definitely personal growth over the years. But I have to say, one of the greatest joys is the joy of helping others change their lives. Just in the past couple of weeks, I've received a few emails and phone calls from people. One person, she was really nervous about paying for her kit, and she was so surprised when she paid for it with her commissions from her first live show. She was so excited. I also got another call from somebody who had been working on her show schedule, and we talked about host coaching. And all of a sudden, within a week or two, she had her first $1,000 show. And, all of these things. It's nice when we pay for our own kits. It's nice when we have our own first $1,000 show. But there is nothing quite like working with someone when they hit these milestones. So those are all definitely the benefits of directorship. But next I want to talk, okay, so that all sounds great, Karen, but what does it take to become a director? Well, it's quite simple. It's 5 active consultants on your personal team. These can be what we call direct or indirect recruits. A direct recruit is someone that you personally sponsor. You are their recruiter on that line when they sign. An indirect recruit is someone that is recruited by someone on your team. So in order to have 5 active consultants, they don't all have to be recruited by you. If you say you recruit 3 people and 2 of them decide to do what many people decide to do when they're new, and that is start with a buddy. They start with a sister, they start with a friend, they start with their mom. I mean, think about when you go to a gym or something like that. One of the first things a lot of people do is sign up with a friend. And, they do that here as well. So let's say you sponsor 3 people and 2 of them decide to start with a buddy and they sponsor someone, that's 5. And then you are on your way to promoting to director. That meets that requirement of 5 personal team members, because those people are all on your personal team. Okay, and then in order to promote, you need to have at least $750 in personal sales each month. And really, that's not a goal most directors shoot for. That's just a minimum. And you can see that's very doable. It's about maybe a show and a half to 2 shows a month. Not much. Then it sounds really ugly all of a sudden. Someone on a cell phone or something that put on mute. Someone put it on. Okay. Hopefully that's taken care of. Yay, it's done. Okay, so $750 in personal sales, which, like I said, most directors sell way more than that. But in order to promote, you need to have $750 in personal sales and $5,000 in team sales. Now, the team sales includes your personal sales plus the sales of the 5 active people. So you can see this is not a huge amount. You don't need to be out there. People don't need to be out there selling huge amounts. As long as you've got 5 people and everybody's, it's not a huge number to reach that. This is just what it takes to get to the starting line, starting in your director life. And then some people say, well, what happens if I promote and then, one of my people doesn't stay? And you know what? That happens. It's okay. Not everybody who tries the business decides to stay with it. Some people, I don't know about you, but I signed up to do 4 shows. That was it. I was going to extend my maternity leave by a month, and I was going to take the products and what little money I made and go my merry way. Anybody else felt like they were starting that way? Yeah. And so many of us change our mind and we stay on. But some people just stay with it for the 90 days to scoop up all those PC dollars, redeem them for free products, and then go from there. And that's okay. So let's talk about what it takes to maintain directorship. All you need is 750 at least in personal sales. But like I said, most directors sell, way higher than that. 2,500 to 3,000 is a really good amount to be aiming for. And you need 5,000 in team sales. That's it. So if you have one person who drops off and decides, it's not their thing, that's okay. You don't lose your directorship. Now, if you say, well, what if I slip? What 1 month I just can't do any shows because, I have to have surgery or something like that. Well, guess what? Every pampered chef knows that, life happens. So if you have a month where you don't hit this 750 or 5,000 in team sales, you don't lose your directorship. You don't get paid as a director that month. You get paid as a team leader instead, or whatever level that you're at. But you don't lose your title. You'd actually have to go 3 months in a row without hitting the 750 or the 5,000. 3 months in a row without hitting that, then you'd lose your title. But really, that's rare. This is a change, a recent change in the directorship maintenance program. So what that means is it's not really difficult to maintain directorship. And if you're out there doing consistent sales and you're finding new people all the time, really this shouldn't be difficult at all. So any questions so far? Okay, then we'll move on to now, all right, well, this all sounds great, right? Are you wondering, okay, so how do I become a director? If you are on my team, this next slide should look very familiar. It's the belief circle. And what this kind of shows is that what we believe in life to a great degree determines what actions we take. What actions we take to a great degree determine the results we get, and the results that we get reinforce our belief. So there's that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. And that's, that's where this comes in. Now, most people, when they're first thinking about directorship, most people aren't thinking, oh yeah, I'm all over that. I think I can do that, no problem. If you already have that belief, wow, amen, because that's half the battle right there. But if your belief isn't quite there yet, well, guess what? It's a circle. It's like a merry-go-round, and you can jump on wherever you want. I was one of those people that I didn't have the belief, but I took the actions. I followed the outline they gave me when I was a brand new consultant, and that outline included talking a little bit about the benefits of becoming a consultant. So even though I didn't believe that I was going to be an effective recruiter, and even though I didn't really even think about directorship, in fact, at those first couple shows, I didn't even know what a director was, but I took the actions they told me to take, and as a result, I got results right away. My first recruit came from my very first show, and it wasn't someone that I knew before. It was a friend of the host I'd never met. So what happened was I took some actions, I got results, and then boom, I had the belief right then and there. So a lot of times, most of us have to take the actions first and get the results, and then the belief comes. So if you want to be a director, it helps if you have the belief, because then the actions are easier to take, or more natural to take. But guess what? If you're not quite there, all you have to do is be willing to jump in on the actions anyway. So to guarantee success, just act as if it were impossible to fail. Just jump in on the actions that we teach you that are tried and true. You will get the results, and then you will have the belief. Now, this is another thing. If you're on my team, it should look familiar. I like to talk about the success model. This is what many of us think of as the success model. Here we are somewhere in time and space, and somewhere out there around us is success, and somewhere out there around us is failure. Only it's as if we're playing pin the tail on the donkey. Someone has covered our eyes, twirled us around, and said, okay, go pin the tail on the donkey, and we're not quite sure where the donkey is anymore. So we're looking for success, but we're not quite sure where is success and where is failure. We don't really know. So what we tend to do is we put our toe in the water just a little bit, and we try an idea that we heard that is successful for others, and we try it a little tiny bit, and it doesn't really feel very good. It feels different. It feels, like, I don't know, I'm not really used to this. It's not what I usually do. So it doesn't feel great, and it doesn't get us immediate So as a result, we're thinking going, well, this is kind of weird and uncomfortable, and I'm not feeling successful. So this must be failure, and I need to retreat from failure. So we back off. And then we hear another idea, and we go, well, why don't I try this one instead? And we put our toe in the water, and we try that idea just a little tiny bit. And it doesn't feel a whole lot better than the other one, because it too is something very different than what we've done before. And so it doesn't feel like success. We didn't get immediate huge results because all we did was stick a toe in the water with the idea. And so so it's not success. So again, we label it as failure and we retreat from it. And then we can do this over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden we're just kind of paralyzed. We're like in there going, okay, I feel like all I'm bumping into is failure, and I feel like I'm not finding success anywhere. But truth be known, this is not your standard success model. Here is the real deal. There's us on one side and success on the other. It's all around us. But in between is the learning curve. So if you want to be successful in this business, one of the things is just embracing the learning curve and not expecting everything to go perfectly well the first time. No matter how much you prepare and read and practice, it's just going to take a little bit of learning. And it's okay, because if things don't go right the first time, it's not failure. It is a very important tool in learning. Think of a baby learning how to walk. They fall a few times, don't they? Of course. And what if every time a baby fell, second and third time, they said, "That's it, I'm just not going to walk. I tried that whole walking thing. It just doesn't work for me. And yeah, so I'm not going to do that." Then we'd have a lot of people not walking. But babies don't get discouraged by falling. In order to learn how to walk, a baby needs to learn balance and depth perception. These things are absolutely crucial to learning how to be a successful walker. And the only way to do that is get up and kind of be out of balance before you can learn balance. And stumbling and sometimes falling. These are not failures, because they go, now I learned that doesn't quite work. Let's try this again. And then they successfully learn how to walk. And really think of anything you've been successful in your life. Whether it's learning how to play a musical instrument, or learning a sport, whether it's learning a foreign language or learning karate. I mean, think of anything that you're successful at. Was there not a learning curve involved? A time where, things weren't perfect, but it's what you did to learn what you needed to do on the other side. So the same is true here. If you want to be a director with the Pampered Chef, you know what? You're just going to have to embrace the fact that there's a learning curve involved, and just embrace it and know that it's not failure, it's a learning. And as long as you learn something from each place and you continue to move forward, each day you're getting closer and closer to success. And for most people, success is not more than just a tweak or two away from your starting point. All right. So I did say that I was going to share with you a simple plan on how to achieve directorship. So once you say, okay, I've got the belief, or I'm willing to jump in on actions, and I'm okay with a learning curve. I know I don't have to be perfect. So okay, what is this plan? This simple plan was not developed by me, Karen Batty. This simple plan was developed by the Pampered Chef over years and years and years of research. But actually, I think there's one more slide before I get to that. Yes! Before I get to the simple plan, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we call a self-sustaining calendar. I'm going to take a sip of water here. Have you noticed at your sales meetings that when they do recognition, do you ever think, wow, it's always the same people at the front of the room? Can you raise your hand? Give me a yay. Did that happen? Well, the reason why that is because we all pretty much have what I call a self-sustaining calendar. And that means however many shows you have in 1 month, that's probably how many you'll have in the next month, unless we do something very, very dramatic to change. For instance, when I first got started, I lined up the minimum number of shows, which was 4. And after my second show, I was madly in love with the business, and there was no way I was leaving after 4 parties. I just couldn't believe that I could make a living dropping pizzas on the floor and setting off smoke alarms, and sometimes even having a glass of wine at the end of the evening. But what a business is this? So I very quickly decided I wanted to do more shows. So I figured, well, I've got 4, and if I get 2 bookings from each of those, I'll have 8 next month, and it'll be great. But guess what? Do you think that happened? No, not exactly. I had 4 booked. How many do you think held? 3. Isn't that about right? If you book 4, maybe 3 will hold. I started at the end of February, beginning of March. So guess what? There was a snowstorm. Woo! So 3 of my parties held. I did average 2 bookings per party, 6. But you know what? They weren't all in the same month. I started at the end of February, I started in February, they didn't all book for March. Because, some of them knew each other, and some of the same people were coming back, so they wanted to split it up a little bit and have a different special. So 4 out of the 6 bookings were for the next month. So there, I started with 4 one month, and then I had 4 the next month. And how many of those do you think held? Not 4. 3. Again. Oh, and then I got 5 bookings from those 3. And again, they weren't all for the next month. So the next month I had 4 again. So I had a self-sustaining calendar. We all do, for better or for worse. We all have a self-sustaining calendar. And for 6 months, I kind of bounced along, like hoping fewer shows would magically turn into 8. And then finally, after my 6 months in business, I said, this isn't turning to 8. And I just decided to go out and fill my calendar. And it took me about 4 days, and I had 8. And my life changed forever. Because there is this thing that we call the magic number. So the key, if you really want to build a strong business and become a director in a fairly short period of time, is to book 2 shows a week, no matter what. Once you have it booked for 1 month, then you get that self-sustaining calendar on the next level. How am I going to book my March from my February? How am I going to book my April from my March? How am I going to book my May from my April? I'm not worried about it. If you ask someone who has a strong show calendar where they get their bookings from, they'll tell you from their shows. They have enough to get more than they need from their shows. We do, with practice, and when you're out there doing 2 parties a week, you get plenty of practice. It's not difficult to get 2, sometimes 3 bookings on average per party. So even if you have a host who wants to become a consultant and you give a few shows away, you still have enough. Even with a couple of cancellations each month, you still have enough. If you're booking 10 and holding 8, or booking 8 and holding 6, you've got enough at the parties you're doing to get you all the sales, all the bookings, and all the recruit leads that you need to achieve the trip, to achieve directorship, to achieve a higher paycheck. So it seems to be the magic number. Is lighting a match difficult? No, it's easy, isn't it? But it's only easy if you have the right momentum, right, or the right speed, correct? Try to light a match if you just barely move the match very slowly, and you take 10 seconds to rub it across that scratchy surface. Is it then hard to light a match? Yeah, then it's practically impossible. So 2 parties a week seems to be the magic number. It's only about 8 to 10 hours a week out of your life. It's still, fewer hours than most part-time jobs. But it gives you enough practice. It puts you in front of enough people, and it gives you that speed, like lighting a match, that where all of a sudden things just kind of fall into place and happen almost automatically. So the simple game plan for achieving directorship is the 2 shows a week, no matter what. Just booking those parties. So let's talk about, let's say you decide, okay, I'm going to make March my month. That's going to be the month where I book 2 parties a week. So you book 8, and 6 of them on average are going to hold. And we're going to go with a national show average of about 500. So you go out and you have 6 shows and a $500 show average. You sell $3,000 in sales. Do you guys know what your commission rate is as a new consultant or someone who hasn't yet reached $15,000 in sales? Do you know what your commission rate is?
20%?
Did you say 20?
Yeah.
Nope. Actually, it's much higher.
Oh.
You've sold $3,000 in a month.
Oh, 3,000.
Yes, you've done 6 shows of 500 in sales. You've sold $3,000.
That would be 24%.
That's right. Ding, ding, ding. 24%. That's $720 of income. And you've gone out of your house 6 times. You've made $720. So what would you guys do with $720 every month coming in for leaving your house 6 times?
I would pay some bills.
You pay some bills. That'd be good. Would it make life easier? I mean, you're paying your bills now, right?
Absolutely.
A little bit of breathing room. Breathing room is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to put $250 in my car.
There you go. There you go. Did your car break down or do you want a new car?
I broke down.
Oh, I hate car trouble. Oh. Yeah, and you'd still have money left over. So, okay. But let's talk about the real magic of booking 8 and holding 6, because let's talk about what else that means. Book 8, hold 6 also means that, okay, where's the next line? There it is. You're probably going to see, if you're doing your host coaching well, and we'll teach you how to do that, you'll probably see on average about 10 people per show. Okay, you're going to have some shows with 5 or 6 people and some shows with 15 or 16 people. But on average, if we host coach consistently and well and effectively, we're going to see about 10 people per show. That's about 60 people per month. Now, again, Pampered Chef has done the math. They say every 6 to 8 people that we talk to about having a party will. So we're probably going to get all the bookings that we need for the next month from those people. Probably around 10 or more of them will schedule parties, or at least 10 if we're good at what we do. Maybe 8 if we're not as well practiced. And that's going to be plenty, right? Actually, if just one person per party books the next month, we're good to go. So sometimes people ask me, how do you do that 3-2-1? Pampered Chef talks about the 3-2-1 success plan. That 3 contacts a day leads to 2 shows a week, right? You guys have heard that 3-2-1 plan? 3 contacts a day leads to 2 bookings a week. So 3 contacts a day, if you do that 5 days a week, that's 15 contacts. If you do that for a month, it's 60 contacts. Look at how many contacts you have if you're booking 8 and holding 6. You have 60 contacts. This is where that self-sustaining calendar comes from. People who have a full calendar do not spend their lives on the phone looking for bookings. They don't spend their days off of the phone doing laundry going, oh, I should be on the phone. Okay, they just go to their shows, they crank out the shows, they have a ball at the shows, and they book their next shows. And then they go home. Life is grand. It's a self-sustaining calendar. So that's one thing that Book 8, Hold 6 means. And that is a glorious place to be. And I want you guys to just think about that. Think about life after the calendar is full. I think sometimes we spend so much time thinking, oh, I need to get on the phone, or oh, I need to talk to people. You know what? Think about what your life would be like after that happens. Because I did that 17 years ago. And I have never had to book 8 shows again. I usually book 10. Because I like to hold 8. So what do you think I do when 10 turns to 9 and I have a cancellation? What do you think I do? Do you think I get on the phone right away?
Yeah.
No, I do not. I like to hold 8. So when 10 turns to 9, I say, woohoo, yay, 1 down. I do a little happy dance. I didn't want to hold 10. I wanted to hold 8. So when 9 turns to 8, what do you think I do? I say, yeehaw, 8's what I wanted anyway. Great. Mm-hmm. So when 8 turns to 7, what do you think I do?
Get on the phone and call.
Now you think I get on the phone and call. No, I do not. Not yet. First, if I have a show in the next 48 hours, I'll just go to that show. I'm a director. They give me a ton of products for free. I'll go to a show with a product and say, hey, I just had a cancellation on a week from Friday, or I had a show canceled on Friday, but for my bad luck is your gain. Whoever fills it gets this prize tonight.
Nice.
Yeah. If that doesn't work, I send out an email to my entire customer base offering an incentive. I give it 24 hours. If that doesn't work, I get on the phone. How often? And then I get on the phone to fill one date. How often do you think that happens?
Not often.
Not often at all. I did use this blizzard to book some more parties, but it's not because I didn't need, it's not because my shows weren't there. It's just, I feel like I should do the blizzard challenge if I'm wanting my team to do the blizzard challenge. And it is so much easier to do that challenge when you don't need it to work. So really embrace the fact that if you kind of bite the bullet and just reach out, and remember, you've got a great service to offer. You're offering people the opportunity to have a shopping spree and a really fun time with their friends. They get to try out new products. Oh, I told everybody to turn off their phone and I didn't turn off mine. I'll just slide it across the floor and hope it's not that loud anymore. Okay, so that's that self-sustaining calendar, okay? So embrace the fact that if you just fill it once, it's not hard to keep it that way. Not hard at all. And it opens up a whole new world out there where the sales just keep coming in, the bookings keep coming in, and the recruiting actually just comes in as well. Then there's what's called the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 ratio. Again, these numbers are not mine. They're Camper Chef numbers. Oh, I told you that 1 out of 6 to 8 will book. Okay, but approximately 1/3 of the people that you offer information to about the business will take it home. So if you're seeing 60 people a month, about 1/3 will take information home. That's about 20 people. About 1/3 of them will talk to you further. Okay, that means there's going to be a lot of people who take information home and never pick up their phone to talk to you again, and you just have to be okay with that. And then about 1/3 of the people who talk to us will decide that they want to sign. So sometimes people think, oh, it's a personality trait or something, that I have to be a director. And guess what? Directors come in all different shapes and sizes. But I will tell you one thing that most directors have in common. They're okay with 2 no thank yous to every yes please at the full service checkout with taking information home. And they're okay with the fact when they call some people, they don't always call us back. They don't always pick up the phone, even when they tell us, yes, I'll schedule a time to talk with you. And they're okay with the fact that not everybody we talk to signs right away. A lot of them do. I think I have a better than a 1/3 ratio there just because I have a lot of experience. But some people decide, yeah, this sounds like a great idea, but not right now. But once with some practice, if you embrace the learning curve, these numbers will be your numbers. And let's talk about what that could mean down the road. I mean, $720 in the month of March is a nice income, but let's talk what it means down the road, and not way down the road. But let's talk about, oh, I was hoping this would show up one line at a time. Oh, darn. Oh, well. Let's talk about what this could mean for you in the month of June, okay? Not for someone arbitrary out there in the universe, but for you, and not for some time in the future, but this June, okay? Your kids are still going to be in school with all this snow we're having, and this is going to be your income if you commit to the book 8, hold 6. So you are consistently selling $3,000 a month because you're booking 8 and holding 6, and you're making your $720. But now you've sponsored 6 new consultants, okay? And let's say the new consultants are selling an average of $1,000 a month. And by the way, even if you don't personally sponsor 6, let's say you sponsor 4 and 2 of them start with a buddy. Remember, that's also part of your team. So 6 new consultants selling an average of $1,000 a month is $6,000. Your activity bonus, so everything that's in bold is your income. So the $720 for your $3,000 in sales, that's in bold because that's your income. Your activity bonus, I mentioned that earlier. That's $10 for every active consultant you have on your team. So in this case, it's now $60. And you're going to earn a 3% override on your personal sales and your team sales, or your team sales, which include your personal sales. So in this case, it's $9,000, and 3% of that is $270. So now your income for, again, just leaving your house 6 times is $1,050. If you want or need to accelerate this process and you'd like that income to be more like $1,200 to $1,300 a month, just book 10 and hold 8 instead. But even in this scenario, it's a 40% increase since March. And it doesn't require more work. It just requires intention. And it requires the book 8, hold 6, and the embracing the learning curve, jumping in on those actions. Plus, if it means free products, because you're getting whatever the 2 show a month incentive you'll get, trip points, and who knows what else Pampered Chef is going to offer in the months ahead. 40% raise in 90 days. Do you know anybody in this economy that's getting a 40% raise in 90 days? I don't know anybody who's had a 4% raise in the last couple of years. So 40% is pretty sweet. But let's dream a little further. Let's talk about where you could be, let's say, September, when your kids are going back to school. You continue to book 8 and hold 6. But, okay, there's a lot of background noise on someone's line. Someone have a TV on or something like that, if you guys could mute? Okay, good. So now you're still booking 8 and holding 6, but guess what? You're up to $600 show average. Talk to someone who's been doing 2 shows a week on average or 6 shows a month on average for 3 to 4 months. Find out what their show average is. This is a pretty conservative number. So your show average is up to 600. So, and you now have a team of 10. And you might be thinking, hey, Karen, how come you're only saying 10? I had 6 before and it's 3 months later. Because guess what? Not everybody stays with it. So you've recruited some more, but some have decided that, they just want to do it for 90 days or what have you. So that's okay. So now you're up to 10. And one person on your team says, oh, I can totally do this book 8, hold 6 thing. That's exactly what I need and want in my life. And they just promoted to become a director. So now let's see what this means for you in September. So now you're up to a $600 show average. You're selling $3,600 a month. Why is it 26% now? Do you know? It's because you've hit your $15,000 in career sales and you've gotten a 2% increase. So now you're making 26%. So now instead of making $720 on your 6 shows, you're making $936 on your 6 shows. There it is. Now you have 10 people selling on your personal team. So your activity bonus is up to $100. That's like a whole other show that you don't even have to leave your house for. But now your team sales include your personal sales of $3,600. They include your 10 people who are selling $1,000 each, which is $10,000. They include your one director who's selling about $3,000, the whole book 8, hold 6. And that person has 6 people selling at $1,000 each. So now your organizational sales are $19,900. And as an advanced director, you are awarded 4% of that, which is $796. So if you add your activity bonus of $100 to, let's just round up your overrides to $800, you are now making $900 in overrides and activity bonuses. I mean, if you thought that making $720 in a month was nice, you could pay off some bills with that. How about if you're making about $900 a month in your overrides? And it doesn't stop there. It continues to grow. So your total income is now $1,832 based on leaving your house 6 times. This is a 140% raise in 6 months' time. And it's real. And first and foremost, it's about embracing that book 8, hold 6 thing. So there are some skills that are needed. Prospecting, that's where you find those shows that you need so that you can book 8. There's host coaching, so that at least 6 of your shows hold and have decent attendance so that you're averaging seeing about 10 people per show. There's the skill of generating interest at your parties so that you inspire people to want to have parties of their own, and you're inspiring people to want to take information home. It's not about begging people or twisting people's arms. Then there's the skill of inviting at the full service checkout, inviting people to consider having a party, inviting people to consider the business. Some of them are going to have some hesitations. So during the full service checkout, we teach you how to get comfortable with helping people around the fact that, oh my gosh, I don't think I could have a party. I don't know enough people. Okay, we teach you how to invite and help people overcome their hesitations. Then there's the skill of the interview for people who are interested in the business. And there's the skill of helping people to get off to a strong start. So it's 6 skills, but really only 4 that you need to worry about right away in order to become a director and have all those numbers become your numbers. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting a series that starts next week. It's going to be Wednesday evenings via Zoom for about 45 minutes to an hour. And it's going to run for 90 days. It's for those who decide, tonight you didn't have to be serious. You just had to be curious. But now if you're thinking, I want to go for this, then you might want to be part of our Fast Trackers group. So those are the people who really want to strive to promote to director in the next 90 days. And you know what? If it doesn't happen for 120, I'm sure you'll be just fine with that. That's okay. But we're going to aim for 90. It's people who are willing to commit to booking the 2 live shows a week. And when we start the series next Wednesday, the requirement is you have to have 4 live shows in your book on your calendar between the middle of February and the middle of March. Then the first 2 calls are going to be all about filling your calendar. So as long as by the end of the second call, by the end of the second week, you're up to the 8 live shows in the 30-day period, then you can remain in the series. Okay. So you have to commit to the weekly calls. Again, 45 minutes to an hour via Zoom Wednesday evening, so you don't have to drive anywhere. And then each week we're going to be giving you some assignments based on the trainings. These assignments aren't really extra time outside of your parties. Once the first 2 weeks are getting your calendar in shape. After that, the assignments are based on how you're going to be doing your host coaching, how you're going to be generating interest at your shows. So it's not extra time. It's helping you get more intentional about those skills that are needed and what you're doing at your parties to get the most from each one. And so if you think, this is something that you want to do, email your director. And you know what? Everybody who's on the call should email their director, because we didn't have enough space for everybody who wanted to be on this call to be on the call. And we are recording it, and we're going to be sharing it for the people who couldn't be on. So just email your director. Number 1, say, I was on the call tonight. Then I want you to share one thing that you were surprised to have learned tonight. Just one thing that surprised you, and hopefully it was a pleasant surprise. And then I want you to share on a scale of 1 to 10 how committed you are to being on the fast track. If you know you want to be on it, put a 10. If you know you absolutely don't want it, not now, not ever, put a 1. And then just put whatever number reflects, your interest level. Ooh, I'm hearing like a noise there. You? I'm hearing static coming from you. How to stop that. Okay. Does that work? Nope. There we go. Oh, okay, great. All right. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell about the benefits of directorship. If you've got any benefits and how to achieve it, and if you'd like to be part of our series of people who definitely have that as a goal, we'd love to have you part of that series. If you have a hesitation, like, I don't know if I can make Wednesdays work, or whatever your hesitations are, share that with your director. Because just like some people have a hesitation to have a party, like my house is too small and they think there's no way around it, until we say, hey, you can have it at someone else's place. If you are interested but you just have a hesitation, share that with your director, because maybe there's a solution to help you work around that. And now I'm going to open it up. Yay, it's 45 minutes exactly. So excited. So I'm going to open up the line, and you guys can unmute if you've got questions or comments or exciting things to share. What have you? Oh, whoever just unmuted.
Thank you for the call. Was good.
Okay, I'm going to actually stop the recording because there's a buzzing.